we have Andrea Change, who's going to come up here and do a wonderful rendition of the wonderful lady's poem, Ballad of Pearl May Lee. Andrea.
Hey everybody, and wow. This past June 7th, we did the second annual Gwendolyn Brooks marathon reading on Brooks Day, and they asked me to read this poem, and this was predetermined, so I didn't know that I was gonna read it. But too often when we think of poets, we stop thinking of them as people. We think of Carl Sandburg and Hemingway and their entities. We know one's a he, and we know Gwendolyn Brooks is a she, but too often we think of them as entities. We think of them as she's, but we don't realize that they're a person, that they gave birth. They have lives. And after I had a chance to read this poem, what it taught me more than anything about Gwendolyn Brooks, besides the fact that she was a giver and that she was friendly to children and that she was a social activist with her poetry, was she was a woman. So this is the Ballad of Pearl May Lee. And this is in Blacks, just in case you don't have a copy. If you don't, you should get one. The Ballad of Pearl May Lee. Then off they took you off to jail, 100 hootin' after. And you should have heard me at my house. I cut my lungs with laughter. Laughter, laughter, I cut my lungs with laughter. They dragged you into a dusty cell and a rat was in a corner. And what was I doing? Laughing still, though never was a poor girl, Lorna. Lorna, though never was a poor gal, Lorna. The sheriff, he peeped in through the bars, and the red old thing, he told you, you son of a bitch, you're going to hell, because you wanted white arms to enfold you. Enfold you, because you wanted white arms to enfold you, but you paid for your white arms, Sammy boy, and you didn't pay with money. You paid with your hide and my heart, Sammy boy, for your taste of pink and white honey. Honey, honey, for your taste of pink and white honey. Oh, dig me out of my don't despair. Pull me out of my poor me. Get me a garment of red to wear. You had it coming, surely, surely, surely. You had it coming, surely. At school, your girls were the bright little girls. You couldn't abide dark meat. Yellow was for to look at. Black was for the famished to eat. Yellow was for to look at. And the black for the famished to eat. You grew up with bright skins on the brain and me in your black folks' bed, and often you cut me cold, and often I wished you dead. Often and often you cut me cold. Often I wished you dead. Then a white girl passed you by one day, and the vixen, she gave you a wink, and your stomach got sick, and your legs liquefied, and you thought till you couldn't think. You thought till you couldn't think. I fancy you out on the friend of the town, the moons and owls I mindin', and the sweet and thick of the cricket bells dark, the fire within you winding, 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 the fire within you winding. Say, she was white like milk though, wasn't she? And her breasts were cups of cream, and in the back of her Buick, you drank your fill. Then she roused you out of your dream in the back of her Buick. You drank your fill, and then she roused you out of your dream. You right me, nigga, she softly said. The shame was spreading through. You raped me, nigga, and what the hell do you think I'm gonna do? What the hell do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell every white man in this town, I'm gonna tell them all of my sorrow. You got my body tonight, nigga boy, but I'll get your body tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll get your body tomorrow. In my glory, but Sammy, she did. She did, and they stole you out of the jail. They wrapped you around the cottonwood tree, and they laughed till they heard you wail. Laughed. They laughed until they heard you wail. And I was laughing down in my house, laughing fit to kill. You got what you wanted for dinner, but brother, you paid the bill. Brother, you paid the bill. You paid for your dinner, Sammy boy. And you didn't pay with money. You paid with your hide. And my heart, Sammy boy, for your taste of pink and white honey. Honey, for your taste of pink and white honey. Oh, dig me out of my don't despair and pull me out of my poor me. Oh, get me a garment of red to wear. You had it coming. Surely. You had it coming. Surely.
Ooh, that piece does some things to me. So why do you have one ballot and maybe not the name that you would like to see on it? Because, well, that's how we vote. At the end of each round, and I will call out the round, you will pass over your ballots with only one poet's name checked, and then we will go and we will count them. We will begin the next round and the next round, and then at the end of the rounds, we will then take up that last ballot. By then, it wouldn't take us that long to figure out who the last four poets, the winning poets, will be. They will be announced. They will come up. We'll have a little bit of we'll have a little intermission. And then they'll come up and they'll perform, and then everybody votes in that last round. Can we dig it? All right. Thank you very much. So in the first round, I have, and I'm calling all the names that I see on the sheet of paper. If you would not like to have that happen, then let me know, poets. Dylan James Weir will be number 1. Sharon L. Powell will be in the number 2 slot. MOJDEH Stokely is number 3. Olivia Cole will be number 4. And Cameron McGill will be number 5. If you forget, you just come up and ask me, not you in the audience. Just the poet. Thanks, my darling. First up will be Dylan James Weir.
I'm Dylan James Weir. This is October 22nd, 2012. It's Monday morning. Fix a liquid breakfast. Plastic bottled brown liquor on ice. Already forfeited the day away, so I retreat to my room. The bed's stripped sheets fly a white flag in the basement window. I don't want to be seen by the backyard. What I haven't sold has been stolen, except for the cord to a phone filled with friends and family who foregone a funeral, placing bets on an obituary. No one wants to watch a drunk die slow. I collapse onto the mattress, Can't steady the glass with one hand. The shakes are so barbaric, I need both. And breakfast becomes a basin. I'll wash myself clean of last night's sins. This isn't hell's deepest ring imprinted in my chin. This is merely a Monday morning. I put down the drink. The glass sweats. Condensation surrounds both of us, steaming, and I see ice melt for the first time. I see the whiskey barrel's bark stripped by water and pull up the blankets, anticipating my past to pay for in withdrawals. This is my last drink. This is merely a Monday morning, not nearly my darkest day, but this glass half full of whiskey, this is rock bottom. 6 feet deep, but can't dream of living clean. Made a dirt bed, but not ready to sleep. This is Ali on bended knees. This is I need a deity to free me. This is when I cry, God.
Feel free to respond. That was fun.
Sharon Powell, Elegy and Anthem, Word, Flesh, Live, Love. From the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. We, an anthropology of poetry, an anthology of pigment, inks, and charcoals grasping for the very fibers of being. We, permanent pen strokes pressed onto parchment, passed around like love notes in this huge cosmic third-grade classroom. Too holy, from sacred, you are divine. We, a hermeneutic of humility, a homiletic of humanity, honing hope in the dialectical, philosophical, eschatological, and systematic, sometimes unable to sustain all that depth because we are just tissue paper thin and tearing. We are volumes and verses from the most verbose to the tersest. We are mural, tiny graffiti adorning skin like canvas, tatted up technicolor arms and legs like sculptures, priceless temples and cathedrals and testaments, tomes of tears and reams of joy. We are an anthropology of poetry, an anthology of vapors, poisons, living human documents, all fleshy folktales and haikus hungering. We are but memorized bedtime stories and invisible scriptures, spoken and chanted over sleeping children. We are all but griots waiting our turn to be ancient, doing the mundane and sacred day in, day out of keeping story vital, alive, incarnate. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the God was Word, and the Word became flesh and lived among us. In love, flesh not envious, boastful, impatient, or proud, kindness unfailing. We are an anthropology of poetry, an anthology of spirit. Stop writing, let us not cast too much more into stone. Be still, we will hear our stories breathing, our memories flesh becoming words. We are but dust, a Dhamma written by the great Ruach of God, inheritors of a great love ethic with ancestors at once eternal, temporary, and given to the ether. A love offered in bouquets of pressed flowers, found between the pages of sacred texts. That is the human heart beating, bound and unbound, time, timeless, empty, always transforming, an anthropology of poetry. Each one a page, and love is always the word made flesh, where vowels breathe and consonants cry. Each one a page. Love is yes, yearning. She turns over tables and does not go quiet. Each one a page and a flight risk, looking for a new heaven and new earth emerging. When we fight for love, there is not room for all the smiling hatreds. In the new open space, love, let us use our inside voices, mostly break bread together. Love is a drug that does not work on an empty stomach or hard heart. Love is like a sin committed for the good and blamed for all the joy. We are an anthropology of poetry, an anthology in trust. Let us entertain the small angers, rewrite the large ones with acknowledgments, document silences with reverences. Let us not cast too much in stone, read each other's hearts and faces as our most recent translation of Bible, turn the pages and become new.
An open letter to the fair Jesus from a dusk-toned girl. Dear blonde Jesus, your hair is long like Mount Meron's slope and glistens under the Holy Land sun, but even the fairest Israelis don't look like you. Jesus, they look like my mom, a Persian woman whose skin became light through centuries of European integration, but even my mom's considered unusually fair in comparison to her people. Oh, blonde Jesus, pale Jesus, I'm concerned for your health. Maybe you need some sun. I'm sure you would have looked remarkable, your straw body affixed to the crucifix, your likeness chiseled into fixtures which hang in the every chapel. Molded jewelry lives near the hearts of your believers, while prayer cards and paperback Bibles sit ironically next to the Black and Milds at the drugstore checkout. Fair Jesus, I like your beard. It looks soft and I kind of want to touch it, my champagne beard, Jesus. Most scholars don't even believe you had a beard at all. This may be why faith is my most existential worry. I guess ain't nobody got time for a beardless Jesus. The earliest texts say your face was speckled with meek curls, dark skin with woolen hair, your feet like unto fine grass. The KKK burns that likeness at the cross, while singing praise hymns like the old rugged cross become paupers' fields. How did you go from being the ebony prophet to the Nordic prince of Christiness? Dear platinum Jesus, short of the insta-marriage chapels, your act is not well researched. Even Elvis impersonators gain the weight if they need to by the wigs and jumpsuits. They're Xerox proper, but your effigy, your look should have gone out of style by now. Oh, my dear, sweet, bleached Jesus. Your flaxen hairs become luminous over decades of evangelical fundamentalist marketing. Children of your land believe that if you are the manifestation of God, they are but swamp stones of beauty. Watch your children bleach their skin, adolescent girls of India. Watch your children transform from beautiful silhouettes into milk and water wrecks. Sammy Sosa, better. Watch brick cages crowd from 1933 until 45, yellow stars falling under fragrance in circles like wheels for exercise, so Hitler could cleanse this world of the dirty mischief, all in praise of fairness. Was it whiteness? Is next to godliness, or something else? Can't remember. I am too blinded by your lightness.
Y'all wildin'. Hi, I'm Olivia Cole. I'm gonna read Etta's Reality after Sunday Kind of Love by Etta James. Etta said Sunday, but I let it slide and kept searching. This era of us needs something sweet, I said, something to rot its teeth. Sunday is for the antiquated woman, an old us that needed to be remembered in the morning. We need only night. We need only a flash of Saturday in a hot pan boiling. But somehow Sunday stuck and Saturday stained, and I strained at the harness of a new decade that preached away from prize. I don't try for trophy that is missing the point. But Sunday sticks in the teeth like pulled pork I never ate. Sunday isn't chewable. Sunday stays lodged in the throat as I think about lovers. Sunday kind of love. Some things shouldn't be asked for. Some things should fall into the hands like grapes from the arbor. Some things should be loose like chestnut from the spines. Sunday should slip into my grasp like trout, like sliding skin coated in oil and shining. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cameron, and this poem is called Tiny. Before, nothing was there, and nothing was missing. Now, you imagine her voice, how it would catch your ear among hundreds. Color of her hair in your hands. What she'd look like running towards you years later. What promise you were stitching deep inside yourself, only one of you would keep. At first, you agreed on a silence, then a heartbeat, a hummingbird, a sprint to the finish. Her movement mostly undetected. 1,000 silent armies of blood bombarding. You cradled her that way, making a path through the world for the both of you. They sell felt fruit now to commemorate the size of your baby. An orange slice you stroke between thumb and forefinger. A smile of cantaloupe on your pillow. Sometimes you find yourself still talking to her. And she has already answered you with a voice as quiet as a moth caught in a stack of glasses. Something fell from a great height within you, and that was it. You only saw her once. She only ran away from you once. Thank you.
They don't let me vote. It's too hard. I can't do it. I get all flustered because I love all the work. But you have to. So if you have the first round in your hand, I need you to mark off one poet, and then we're going to send it to the edges. Do we have our wonderful deacons of the Gill Complex coming? There you go. Hands up. Come on, climb the stairs. Each round gets higher and higher and all that other jazz. It's a great, 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 great round. I don't know how y'all gonna vote. I love it. Everything's good. For our second round, we have JAMILA Woods, Olivia Regina Harko, Deepak Unikrishnan, Shakira Caluet, and FATIMAH ASGHAR. So starting us off will be JAMILA Woods. After that, I'm not calling anybody else's name. You know where you're supposed to be performing. Get ready, be on deck, and come on. We have is that a hand back there? I see some hands back there. There you go. Good thing they are. Right? I like you all a lot. All the way. All the way in the back. Can we meet them halfway? There you go. Pass it forward. Wonderful. I understand your pain, taking a while to vote. Get over it. I'm just saying, we gotta speed it up. Bad enough with poets and we already started late. All righty, are we good? All righty. Now we have JAMILA Woods starting us off.
My name is JAMILA Woods, and my poem is called Deep in the Homeroom of Doom, after the Choose Your Own Adventure Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine. Page 1. You are in 9th grade at a private Catholic college prep high school. You are not Catholic. You have never heard of Lacoste, Birkenstock, or the North Face. Detention here is called justice under God. Khaki is not your best color. You've got to find a way to survive your freshman year, but first, you'll have to figure out how to be cool. Turn to page 2. Page 2, Kelsey Carroll is cool, way cool. Blonde, blue-eyed Kelsey's double polar collar is perfectly popped. Her Birkenstocks curl like baby otters around her socks. She invites you to a party at her house tomorrow night, jots her number down and signs her name with a tiny heart over the I. To ask your mom if you can go to Kelsey's party, turn to page 23. To ignore the invitation, go home and watch Boy Meets World reruns alone, turn to page 48. Which page do we go to? Page 23. You call your mom at work to ask about the party. She asks for Kelsey's mom's number, wants to call and make sure parents will be home, make sure there will be no dark, unsupervised basements full of drugs and heavy petting. If you grow a pair and ask Kelsey for her mom's number, turn to page 30. If you chicken out and tell Kelsey you can't make the party, turn to page 70. If you give up on trying to be cool and go watch Boy Meets World, turn to page 48. Page 30, the next day in homeroom, you ask Kelsey for her mom's number. She gasps and stares at you in shock as her BlackBerry clatters to the ground. The classroom falls silent, and 4 rows of pale, stank faces turn to you like a plot of spotlights. Your face catches fire. The chemistry teacher has to extinguish your burning skull. Who said black girls can't blush? The end. All right, so when I read these books, I still read the alternate ending. So, page 70, you can't bear the idea of asking Kelsey to ask her mom to talk to your mom about the likelihood of dry humping or marijuana happening at the party. So in homeroom the next day, you make up a lie about needing to babysit your siblings. You say you don't have a ride to the north side. Your train stops running. You wouldn't have a way home. The words drool from your mouth and come out garbled like grown-ups' voices on Saturday cartoons. Kelsey listens until her smile goes slack. You never get another invitation. The end. Epilogue. In later years, you stalk Facebook pictures of Kelsey's friend group and try to imagine yourself there. At the beach picnics, the ugly Christmas sweater parties, the prom night dinners and trips to Michigan lake houses, your cheeks muscular from fake smiles at their lunch table, the arches of your feet fallen from wearing knockoff Birkenstocks you begged your mother to buy, the boys you partied with but never touched, the girls unsure how to hold your hair back when you had too much. Thank you.
My name is Olivia Harco, and I'm reading Figure Father, a piece from my father's heart. My brother halts his sunrise smoking to greet the addict in his doorway, his father. Our father, who art in Albuquerque, spent the morning counting the sands that sleep in pill bottles and watching the rain forget to fall. He blames the millennium for the pain in his chest. But it's that deep purple ridge, the faded aorta choking, making eggshells out of hilltops, waking up the clotted cavern baby that's been sung to sleep in decibels of Dylan songs, raised on legends of daddy-daughter dances, wilting corsages, and shaky hands upon the steering wheel, bathed in a constant litany of fermentation while daughter sits counting the days left in the preteen sanctuary where her friends have yet to learn about rehab. Now, a white station wagon speeds along an elevated road to the hospital in septic shades of gum chewing and pot smoke. Our stone savior rides again. Screw-up brother later stands vindicated in the hollows of the afternoon. The man who knows us least thanks him on a white cot. My father's brain is a town, turquoise on a tray table. Too much time putting PhDs into the bloodstream. Too many mornings away from home. Too much madness in the crux of good news. When that call comes in, I'm half drunk in my Chicago apartment. I feign mountain time. I'll get there eventually. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Deepak Unikrishnan, and the work is called Eduardo. I've met over 100 people named Eduardo. I used to play soccer in New York with an Eduardo from Bogota. He looked nothing like the Eduardo from Botswana, an international student who overturned an 18-wheeler on the Jersey Turnpike. Neither of them looked anything like the Eduardo family I lunched with. Working-class Bulgarians who overstayed their tourist visa for the sake of the children. Then there's the Eduardo from Kenya, who moonlighted as a cleaner, or the Eduardo from Bangladesh who signed up to be Army Strong, or the Eduardo from India who shortened his name to Ed. Or the Eduardo from Guadalajara, a young woman mastering English for her American-born infant, driving without a license. Presently, an Eduardo from Iraq and an Eduardo from Syria have dug a tunnel from the Mideast to the Midwest, where they're greeted by an Eduardo from Nepal, resting in the shade after harvesting fruit in the sun. It's possible. The three Eduardos become friends, lovers even, before driving to the nearest city, awash at restaurants, because ever since they were little, they've dreamed of working with dishes and soap. Sometimes I want some of that. Guts. I want to snort some of that. I really want to snort some of that. I want to jaywalk, ignore deadlines, jump over turnstiles, smile at policemen. Screw ethics. I want to incinerate rules, take jobs under the table, inhale ganja, break my lease, marry without thinking. Grow a beard in August, continue growing it in September. I want to walk with a black man at night. Walk alone when the black man's unavailable. Just feel white if it's possible to feel white. And I want to refuse to doctor my name. I want to falsify papers, inform parents that America broke me, that someone took all the money, that it's hard to get by or do things by the book, that Homeland Security is sending me flowers, addressed to a man named Eduardo. Presently, there is an Eduardo hiding under the chair you sit. In your dreams tonight, 8 Eduardos will landscape 8 lawns in 8 different ways. And tomorrow, on the L, babies named Eduardo will wave at other babies named Eduardo. Then the day after tomorrow, and Eduardo will lose his way in the desert. In a week, increase that number to 4. In a year, imagine 1,000 Eduardos sleeping underground, rereading letters stashed in trouser pockets, letters sent from home.
Hello, my name is Shakira Kawiwet. The poem I'm doing is called The Return of Shafro, and it's a golden shovel. It's a poetic format of Terrence Hayes' Shafro. Okay. Leaving bits of my self-esteem on the tile, sweeping away my courage, like Samson's strength in the dustpan. Cornrows flake, twists locked away like a jailer, watching from a window, God shake dandruff from his head. Thank you.
My name is FATIMAH, and my poem is called Speak American. You speak so well. You speak so well. My family is proud I don't speak Urdu. The dining room table, a dictionary, a pop quiz, medicine words, textbook, theory, ivory language pouring out of our mouths like gravy. Thanksgiving, our favorite holiday. Turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie. Nothing spiced, riced, curried. You speak so well, almost like you were born here. You speak so well, almost like you were born here. When the white boys come over, my aunt hides behind the stove, cuts onions, makes tea, flours all the pans. The white boys sit and laugh and joke with my uncle, laughing over some news not theirs. Meanwhile, my aunt loses her words, finds them slippery as marbles rolling away. She practices them under her tongue while the kitchen sweats. Everything smells like cinnamon. The white boys laugh and my aunt flinches, takes her plate to her room, wraps her black hair in gold scarf, molds the headdress to crown, and owns all the language in the world. You speak so well. 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 Almost like you were born here. 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 You speak so well. Almost like you were born here. Almost.
Vote again. I think that was an amazing round, and I'm so glad I don't have to vote, but you do. Let's do it quickly. Round 2 only. And while we're doing that, I want to tell you about my new accoutrement. Oops. Fell off. I have here a quilt. Marian, are you coming down? Marian Hayes, winner of the 1994 Gwendolyn Brooks Gaboma Award, or Gwendolyn Brooks Open Mic Award. Marian? Where is she? Marian Hayes has been a poet in Chicago for decades. Her poetry is in the world in the melanated wood and was featured in the limited edition of a graphic novel, The Legend of ASGHAR. It's on Onlist Studios. In 2013, her poem, Perpetual Petals, was engraved on a stone amongst cherry trees on the campus of Chicago State University and commemorates Chicagoans slain, commemorates Chicago slain by senseless violence. Can you put this up so we can see? I don't know how we're going to put it out. An Elevated Cry is a poem featured on the award-winning CD 47, 47th Street, by the late trumpeter Malachi Thompson. She is currently working on a series of blues haiku poems called Lotus Blossom Blues and Wabi Subi Blues. Marian Hayes has this quilt project here. And actually, I'll do it. The quilt is put together by Marian and from donations of T-shirts and then fabric that Ms. Brooks loved. The back of it, this piece here, is actually was done, when was that, 94? In the early 90s for Ms. Brooks. And it has poets and poetry and look at that, the hot house, oh, we missed it. Look at Spices, oh my God. I'm sorry, flashbacks. And so, yes, and then this side is from the donated T-shirts of the Brooks Day, and then done with the fabric that Miss Brooks would like. This is going to be raffled off, so if you would like to, we'd like for you to buy some raffle tickets. We're going to have it at several events over the next few months, and it will be raffled off in October. So we want to raise some funds for the Gill Complex, which, of course, Miss Brooks so dearly loved, and has also helped Marian Hayes. I want to know, what did you do with your $500? Paid my mortgage. Marian Hayes.
Hello. Yes, I'm old. I'm so proud to be here, and I'm going to put my shades on. I feel honored to be among poets, and the poem that won in 1994, before many of you were even born, was a blessing. And I have pledged within myself, you know how you support things? I will forever support the Gill Complex with the things that I can do best. And one of the things is to take remnants and turn them into comfort. So I do hope you will support the Quilt Project. But I'm going to get to the poem. I was hesitant to say this poem, and I'll tell you, I don't be among poets that much. I didn't know how to dress or, you know, you all are so new and beautiful. The last time I was on the circuit was when the funky wordsmiths were the funky wordsmiths. So now everybody is college professors and things like that. And I became a grandmom 3 times. So, but in the meantime, here goes the blues. Deep down south, covered by the murky murmur of the Mississippi waters, formed from the dark and dusty roads. The blues turned itself upside down, kicked past the legs of the land, breathed the breath of life and cried, and like warm, embracing arms, the roads leading north lift the babe up into the breast of her body, and there he lay his head, and for a while he listened to his life. Then blues baby up and cried, I'm hungry and ain't nobody around to feed me. I'm cold and ain't nobody around to warm me. My body, yeah, it's new, but my spirit's old. And before I grow up, my story's already been told. The blues, the blues. Everybody loves the blues. Oh, we all just love to moan and groan, to cry out loud, hard and long. But that's okay, for real. See, we all know about that bitter pill. See, the blues is back, that's no lie. Most folks don't know low from high. A woman, she come up to me, she say, Sister Honey, baby, I've got the blues so bad, and that it hurts my feet to walk. I have got the blues so bad, and that it hurts my tongue to talk. And just when I think I've come to the end, my blues began to begin again. So you tell me, and you tell me true, when you taste the bitter end of a sweet beginning, what do you do? Do you cry out loud and long about life's unsavory brew? See, lately I've been tasting that bitter twang, been wondering if I'm about to lose my sweet things. Oh, folks talk about taking the bitter with the sweet when they find the things they thought was theirs they can't keep. And see, lately, for me, it's about that time, because the things I thought was, they are not mine. So you tell me, and you tell me true, when you taste that taste, what do you do? I heard somebody say, I'll play the blues for you. Thank you.
And all the ballots are in for that round, the second round. We're good? All righty. Round 3, I have Andy Carroll, Sammy Lang, Charley Reynard. I've got Irene Savine and Kelly Reuter Raimondo.
Hi, I'm Andy Carroll, and this poem is Ink. Old Roy's tattoo shop caged a tiger in the basement, broken and numb from the buzz of the tattoo guns and heavy metal, only one wall away from the dark streets of Gary. My father pointed to the tiger, said it was the one in the picture with him. Did I know the picture in his hallway? Did I know that picture? I had come to know him most in those young years from that 8x10. My father, in full police uniform, 2 hands holding onto a tiger lying on the floor next to him. That photograph was my favorite reminder that I was his daughter, that I had the blood that could tame tigers. Yes, I knew the picture, but I didn't know if my mother knew it like I did. You are just like your father, she would bark whenever anger found its way to her mouth, which was so often back then. My father would spit, "Stop biting your nails. Your mother used to bite her nails." And then he would circle his hands, touching middle fingers to thumbs. "Your mother used to be so small that I could fit my hands around her waist like this." My mother told me how his hands turned her into a pile of rubble. Wrecking balls grew from his wrists. He knew how to tame tigers, and he knew how to tear apart anyone who tried to build something beautiful with him. Part of me belonged there, with the smell of piss from jungle cat and sun-stale straw. After all, I shared the blood of a man who paid to cover up his mistakes. Ink wrote out numbers every month, signed his name under the $sign until I was 18. He told me too many times how some mothers love those checks more than custody of their own kids. Historical texts on his arms were made into New Testaments that never spoke of his many wives. Change a name into a picture and call it art. Pretend that art is never made from what is broken. Pretend that I believe in homes that never break. Love can only go so far before it must be reinvented again. Sandra Joe, he said, driving me home to my mother's house, "I would give my heart for you if you ever needed a new one." He pushed play on the tape player, desperado, filling the dashboard. "You better let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you before it's too late." He told me that this was his favorite song, and that I got my musical ability from his side. My mother told me she fell in love with him while he strummed a guitar. I told her I wasn't sure I knew a thing about love. I'd never had the chance to hold a tiger by its throat, but if I ever did, I'd be the one who'd open the cage door so that they could run away free. Thanks.
Oh, hi everybody, I'm Sammy, and I've got a love poem for you. It's about love. It's called I Keep Dreaming of Bordeaux Inside a Midwest Mortgage, and it goes like this. And part of my hat, the bad hair day is real, so pardon my manners. All right, so there's a voice in my head, and it sounds a lot like my own, except my inflection sounds different on the playback. I am full moon drunk, I'm foot bottom callous. Do she love me out of pity? Do she love me like a full lung? When we lay on top of sheets, I see a lot of turquoise. When I lay on my own, I smell like burnt cheddar in a poor disposition. There's a voice in my head that sounds a lot like my own, and knowing somebody hurts like excessive orgasms. She incessantly reminds me that time is a mortgaged home, a crooked bone. So I keep my trinity bound within a swish of sweet and a quaalude. I love you so judgmentally, it's ridiculous. There's a conch in the machine. Jesus is turning me on. I will do whatever Drake tells me to do, but I will sing with reprehensible dissonance and a whole lot of feel. I know she wants France. I know I want France. I mean, shit, everybody wants France. We make love with baguettes. We break bread with tongues, and she has a tongue, the most wonderful red tongue. There's a voice in my head that sounds a lot like my own. There's a cut on top of my wrist that I blamed on some sheet metal. I work with metal, you see. And she's Inspector Gadget, and I keep dreaming of Bordeaux trapped inside a Midwest mortgage. You see, time is a drone, time is loose leaf, time is haphazardly jotted, time is a telemarketer, time is a lion, time is a tuna, time is a fucking rope swing flinging kids over cliffs, one by one. Time is, she says, but Sammy, I need the truth like I need to fix a heroin. It would sure take the edge off, but I'm downright scared of it. I say, whoa, That sounds a lot like me. Whoa. She sounds just like me. Whoa.
Hi, I'm Charley Reynard. The title of my poem is An Old Man Prays. An old man prays by colonizing the past. One is always at home in one's past, said Nabokov. In '58, Grandpa Rizzoli introduced me to boxing. I wedged it aside in his easy chair, Gillette Friday night fights, watching the onion farmer Basilio, battered by Robinson Carbon, refusing to go down for Sugar Ray, though his eyes closed to slits, his face the sculpture of war. Later, Sister Cabrini, not exactly Christian, just your basic Benedictine, in starched habit, prescribed phys ed, of which there was none at Christ the King, but she said boxing. Why I was paired against our 8th grade raging bull, unruly Cerulli, a sorrowful mystery I had not memorized from my dog-chewed Baltimore catechism, though my conduct issues may have been a clue. The idea of fighting him, the marrow of fear. At the bell, he charged. My arm went straight like a pipe to keep him at bay. He raged in, impaled his Roman nose on the pipe, dropped like a sack of laundry down the cellar chute. Upon awaking, he went on to high school football stardom. I retired early, good fortune, breasted like a prize. Undefeated elementary champion, May 1960. In the winter of '66, my roommate, Broussard, led our St. Joe basketball Pumas against the Cincinnati Bearcats in their house. The Big O, Oscar, was gone to the Royals. We had a chance with Goliath for once. Broussard, a Cincy Moeller grad, with his own home crowd, kept us close. He was silk on the court. Miraculous leads from time to time. We lost. But we celebrated, danced drunk on the roof of the no-tail motel, nearly hauled to the Cincy jail. Eluding the police by the razor's edge of seconds for a raucous return to our cornfield school near Chicago, and to the balance of our youth to squander with such scandalously undeserved grace. Thank you.
I'm Irene Savine, and this is And So It Was. He finished the mail, a smooth, sleek specimen, entirely consistent with his system. He was quite proud of the male, Adam, and of course, the garden. He was still tinkering with the female, although, for the most part, he thought they would be compatible. She, however, had opinions, and he was starting to regret asking Eve to offer her critique. I don't see why I can't have a pouch, like a kangaroo or a possum, she said, drawing one right onto the belly with her pencil without even asking if it was okay. But that would be unbecoming, he said, erasing it. How so? It doesn't bother the kangaroo one bit. Have you ever really looked at a kangaroo? He countered. I was just practicing when I made them. But it would be so cool to have a pouch for carrying young and a tail. Why can't I have a tail and ears that turn so I can hear my prey? You're not going to be an animal, understand? Oh, I don't know why I got you involved in the first place. He rose to leave. Because, she called after him, I'm going to keep this Adam company for a long time. It's in his interest and yours for me to be happy. But you will be. You'll have the garden. You'll dance with these fine legs and sing with these pretty lips. He pointed a finger at her mouth. But I will never care to have babies. You won't need to. But won't I want to? Not when you have the garden to live in. You'll see you are different from, say, kangaroos. You asked for my critique, and now you won't accept my commentary? That is so like you. I'll consider it, he said, but no promises. Well, then at least make me smarter. Pardon? Make me smarter than Adam. But then you'll want, I think you are rigging this game. I'll need to think faster, farther, for the sake of my young. Don't you listen? You won't bear young. We'll see about that. Smarter. Smarter. And so it was.
Hi, my name is Kelly Reuter Raymundo. This poem's called Monster. To remove, to take something away from or off of the position occupied, to claw you out. They wanted me to tuck you in the bed of my nails, lay you in the glass bassinet of my palms above a bloody toilet seat, pretend to be God, remove it from my uterus. It. They called you it. It would be better off that way. Between all-nighters and parties, my 20s are my time to be selfish. I strut my heels down suburban street runways, live in the moment, date a lot, bar hop a lot, look pretty, they say. My body will forgive the earthquake, the prematurity of its limbs collapsing inside. I will smile again one day. My womb too. But you were mine, child, and I protected you. My best friend calls me a monster for it. 5 months. You fit in me like the gray sky. 8 months. My pockets are starting to rip. 9 months. Full term and no turning back now. Pitocin makes my breathing wild like epidural, sharp, pierces my back like my best friend's stilettos. You are released from me roaring, beautiful one. I am a monster now, beast, wild stock, alien. The lines that pulsate and pull and stretch across my belly are the electrocardiogram of E.T. Crop circles are appearing around my eyes after months and months of sleepless nights. My friends, my old friends, have put me in quarantine. My breasts are Godzilla's 2 hind legs. White lava shakes the ground with each step. I'm 21 and I got drinks on deck. My daughter, Peyton, Sophia, Raymundo, thinks I'm beautiful even if they don't. Your laughs are my fingerprints. I never considered waving goodbye to you. I fought and fought so your cuticles would not become ghosts to keep, to have, retain possession of, to not lower a casket with your heartbeat inside. Thank you.
Don't you want to have her on your chest? You can for only $15. She's fabulous. She makes you look smarter than you are. And hopefully it'll be warm enough this summer for you to wear it. One day. If not, just put your thermals on under it, Daddy. It'll be wonderful. So yeah, we have them out front. Where's the swag office going to be? Would that be out front? Out front. Fantabulous. That was an amazing, amazing round. I don't know how y'all going to do it. I hope you do. Hurry up and vote. So here we go. We have round 3 on your sheet. You're going to mark it off, and then we're going to pass it down to the end. Pass them down. And you've been voting for Andy Carroll, Sammy Lang, Charley Reynard, Irene Sabine, and Kelly Reuter Raymundo. We have next up round 4. Is there any other announcement that I'm missing? Because I'm missing my sheet. Thank you so much. Give it up for John Rich, the director. He's so fun. So here we go. Next on deck for round 4, I have Miles Clark, Aaron Watson. I know that name, don't I? Come see me at the end. Rachel Lena Slotnick, Jacob Victorine, and Ellie Matlin. Have we all voted? Are all the votes in? Deacons, I need to know. Everyone who has a ticket can worship in this round. If you do not, or you're going to hell. As an Orisha priestess, I don't even believe in that, so it's okay. I can say it. All righty, next up on deck, we begin round 4 with Miles Clark.
My name is Miles Clark. This is a poem called A List of Affirmations 2013 to 2014. I will sit down in the shower with you, shred every fiber of your parents' decorative towels and drip, drip, drip all over the kitchen floor forever. I will ride the bus as far as it takes me to your house in the suburbs where the walls are all a disgusting beige and feel you in between them breathing. I will staccato step the length of your staircase. Thunderfoot the loose floorboard until it breaks and the sky soaks in your dirty basement. I will wear your blue crest to sadness and sing several octaves out of my range the top 10 songs on Billboard the month you were born. I will watch the spiders weave a web that looks like the apartment you grew up in and lay eggs that blow up in balloons several miles away to a crawl space of a house you'll cry Etta James tears in 2 years when you're done with school and all out of growing. I will 2-buck chuck kiss you. Be languid with my love, dispense it wisely, cleave myself into pill pieces better suited for ingestion. Take orally, dry swallow, once a day I will. Resin hit myself into a pot-addled oblivion. A dense darkness punctuated by bouts of overwhelming meaninglessness I will chew in time to the sound of the prime meridian shifting. Mimic the lateral movements we'll make on a Good Friday covered in each other in God's grace I will handle like a serrated knife. Dulled and rusting, pursue you like a coveted whetstone, searing to slice you open and leave succulent wounds you'll dress up for dinner parties and down for bed, every stitch of your sheets cultivated carefully. I will be pragmatic, righteous with my dealings, the psyche and underdeveloped black and white photo of right and wrong. I've watched enough Law and Order to know what this glass wall between us means. I will be me, but often an impermeable enigma, a sky obscured by scattered birds, a practice deemed tactless upon further reflection but kept up out of selfish habit. I will preach to you, prodigal son, so full of glory like you swallowed Christ. Press me clean in your bathtub, leave me holy-handed in dripping baptisms, a doused flame, repentant but not redeemed. I will be the family pet, the obedient mutt, a furry sycophant to your human desires, paw strong enough to run however far the tennis ball goes. I will trim her lightly before you fall. Mighty Colossus, personification of the sun, sea breaks heavy on your ruined corpse, and I am filled with sorrow for my own nature. I will talk about love in a way that doesn't make you cringe. Somber with my detailings on how it hits like a well-placed punch, I will be the Chattahoochee River when it rains. Drunk and overfilling and foolish and clumsy with my love, I will be the forest on fire. I will never, ever like the smell. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Watson. This is a poem called Baba Yaga on Palmer Square. As the neighbor flashed threats with her yellow eyes, she swore, "Nobody wants you here." So my house creaked up on its chicken legs, uprooted sod clumps with its raptor claws. My house scratched out where our nest had been. My house held me whole in its gullet and ran. I ground coals in my pestle. I took ashes for sugar in my tea. My house went without its diet of skulls. My house grew weak and stumbled on a stained box spring. I creaked shut the screen door and went scavenging, a bone meal for my house's hunger. I spoke with the rats who averted their eyes when they heard where my house had been. In the crystalline old snow, I tore dry meat from a femur. Never did I learn to speak my house's language. She only imitated mine. But cradled in the gullet's redness, I said my spell. I want you here. I want you here. I want you here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Slotnick, number 3. And I'm the one with the long title. This is dedicated to my father. My title is Tales from My Fisherman Father. If I follow my hands, can I shake the winter fish from the trees? In Tiburon, on a Wednesday, I saw a seabird with my father's face. "Why don't you get yourself a decent boyfriend?" it cawed. It spiraled up and vanished, casting a flicker on the sand by my feet like the limb of a tree breathing out slowly. When I turned 7, my father's beard filled with salmon and seaweed. His cod eyes darted from reef to reef. He spoke in an enormous gurgling noise that made everything sound like death. This was his lullaby. It was the sort of burbling tonality I needed in order to believe in things like the stuff that shifts the clouds. My father was tormented by winter fish. He saw them everywhere, dangling from the trees, hanging in the air like reflective lures, swallowing the sky and hiccuping green ocean. I tried to explain to him that they were only apples. "See, they're not fish at all," I said, as I plucked a red, ripe one. But his scaly skin tautened, And so, like he had taught me so many times, I threw it back. I watched it fall like an unanswered plea until at last the apple hit the ocean. My skeleton is shivering, he said to me once when his thoughts turned to winter. One Passover, I brought home a rich fish of a boyfriend. Is he Jewish? Asked my father, clutching the neighborhood in the palm of his hands. Once in the hospital, my father ate an octopus. As he chomped, his eyes rolled back in his head like a hungry predator. I watched all the legs and legs and legs and legs. I remember he too looked like an octopus, all those tubes growing from his arms. I had never felt my hands so concretely, so many fingers, so many unnecessary digits. That was when I first noticed it, supple and rubbery, a perfect tentacle sprouting from the heart of my palm. If you follow your hands, you can shake the winter fish from the trees, he had said. There we stood, just two humans, looking out the hospital window at the edges of the fishbowl, talking about the weather. We'll call him Charley, my father said once of a tremendous rainbow trout as he gutted it and the paint colors spilled out. The clouds were gray as fish skin. My father wiped the purple blood on his pants and he said, "Don't worry, sweets, he's already dead." I knew when the clocks were still in the fish skin sky and the carp rained down from the trees like ripe apples. "Be still," said my father. The leaves hummed, and everywhere were tentacles for hearts. I knew then that this was the beginning of something slow.
My name is Jacob Victorine, and this is a letter to Anne Frank regarding writing and beauty that persists in the face of oppression. Tonight, Kathy and I read poems to the students whose parents are late to pick them up. Kathy floats around the room reciting Rimbaud in French, and suddenly, she's 20 again, beautiful and crazy with talent. It's nearly 6 when Alex exclaims, "Next time I see a poem, I'm gonna eat it." I want to tell him yes, that he knows at 7 years old when most adults will never learn. There are so many who think poetry doesn't matter. I'm trying to clear the brush away, to show the charred wreckage and the fingers wanting air beneath it. There are times the subconscious unfolds. We both know this is a gift. I wonder why the SS made the prisoners' band play each day at Buchenwald. I guess even they saw beauty in a body conjuring music from metal, string, and wood. Did they see it in the Torahs, in the paintings piled 40 feet high in basements, in the picture frames, pots and pans, the remnants stolen and cataloged from daily life? What does your diary mean to me? Is it just an artifact? I've been writing to you now for months with no response, but a name can transform the voice that uses it. Dear Anne, the Gestapo will take you. Dear Anne, they will storm in the night. Dear Anne, I am afraid of white men with shaved heads. Last night, Sarah and I sat on our back porch for the first time since last summer. I don't get tired of writing, I told her. In Jewish mysticism, the elements are made of letters. Dear Anne, I wish I had something more brilliant to say.
The Last Lullaby by Ellie Maitland. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. You're probably safer the less that you're heard. The monsters can hear where you are if you pout, and they'll give you something worth crying about. Hush now, my child, don't worry your head, or the goblin I saw crawl under your bed. He'll drag you beneath if he grabs just a toe. So maybe just hold it if you need to go. Hush now, my darling, never you fear. That light in the closet has always looked queer. That faint reddish glow means the filament's slack. A green glow means Martians have come for a snack. Hush now, my sweet one, no need to pout. No pixies will come tear the teeth from your mouth. A cavity smell to an elf is divine. But you brushed your teeth, like you said, so you're fine. Now hush, good night, I'll leave you alone. You did, after all, want a room of your own. We're right down the hall. There's no need for distress. I'll see you tomorrow, or clean up the mess.
Well, ain't that something? This is the end of the 4th round. Like, you've gone through the poems. All you have to do now is vote for this last set, and we're on to the finals. Before then, I have a couple of questions, though. How many of you all have ever heard of the guild complex before this competition? Andrea, put your hand down. Y'all have heard of it? How many of you have not? Look at you. We're so glad to have you. Please check out the website. Is it www.guildcomplex.org? All righty. How about the Facebook page? I can just go to Guild Complex Chicago. Something like that. And what other wonderful events do we have coming up? Do we have a Palabra Pura coming up anytime soon? There you go. And then we have the October event that we're going to be doing, the raffle for the wonderful quilt. So you come in and you look us up and you think about it. But then you can also decide and put in like all kinds of recommendations for events. I got called into doing an event called Black Vernacular. I said, okay, I'll do it. We had a ball. It was amazing. It was fun. So if you want to host something, if you want to enjoy something, this is a spot for you. And if you're old enough, you might remember an old hip-hop song when they would say, whose world is this? You say the world is mine. Well, the Guild Complex is your complex. I mean, you know, in a good way. So when I say, whose guild is this? Y'all say, the guild is mine. The guild is mine. Whose guild is this? And if you want to look up the old ancient hip-hop ways, I'm sure you can YouTube it. So yes, let me see. If voting is done, have you finished that? We have a wonderful young lady over here named Nadia, and she has some wonderful divine inspirations. Poets do not partake, as if you are going to be in the next round. You would like to have full use of stuff that over there would not be good for having full use of. So yes, come on down. Make sure you tip her well. If you need to smoke, you can head on out. If you need to make a phone call or whatever else, and you're going to do that out there as well. Talk amongst yourselves while we get this last bit of voting together. So I'm going to call 4 names, and then I'm going to tell you something that happened that I love it when it does. So now round 1, MOJDEH Stokely. Round 2, Deepak Unikarashnan. Round 3, Kelly Reuter Raimundo. And for round 4, we have Aaron Watson, plus it was a tie. It makes me happy because I get to hear more poems. Rachel Slotnick. Does everybody have a new ballot that has no names on it? So I'm going to give you a little bit of time because you're going to write down, and if you don't know how to spell it, it's okay. It's actually in your program. MOJDEH Stokely, Deepak Unikrishnan, Kelly Reuter Raimundo, Aaron Watson, and Rachel Slotnick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And first on our list, MOJDEH.
I didn't tell you guys my name before. It is MOJDEH. Now you know. I can spell that for you. M-O-J-D-E-H. I know you guys are voting for me, so I'm just trying to help you out. An open letter to the fair Jesus from a dusk-toned girl. Dear blonde Jesus, your hair is long like Mount Meron's slope and glistens under the Holy Land's sun, but even the fairest Israelis don't look like you. Jesus, they look like my mom, a Persian woman whose skin became light through centuries of European integration, but even my mom's considered unusually fair in comparison to her people. Oh, blonde Jesus, pale Jesus, I'm concerned for your health. Maybe you need some sun, though I'm sure you would have looked remarkable, your straw body crucified, your likeness chiseled into figures which hang in the every chapel. Molded jewelry lives next to your believers' hearts, while prayer cards and paperback Bibles sit ironically next to the Black and Milds at the drugstore checkout. Fair Jesus, I like your beard. It looks soft and I kind of want to touch it, my champagne beard, Jesus. Most scholars don't even say you had a beard at all. I think this may be why faith is my most existential worry. I guess ain't nobody got time for a beardless Jesus. The earliest texts say, your face was speckled with meek curls, dark skin with woolen hair, and your feet, like unto fine brass. The KKK burns that likeness at the cross while singing praise hymns like the old, rugged cross become pauper's fields. How did you go from being the ebony prophet to the Nordic prince of Christiness? Dear platinum Jesus. Short of the Instamarriage chapels, your act is not well researched. Even Elvis impersonators gain the weight, if they need to, by the wigs, jumpsuits, their Xerox proper, but your effigy, your look should have gone out of style by now. Oh, my dear bleached Jesus, your flaxen hairs become luminous over decades of evangelical fundamentalist marketing. Children of your land believe that if you are the manifestation of God, they are but swamp stones of beauty. Watch your children bleach their skin, adolescent girls of India. Watch your children transform from beautiful silhouettes into milk and water wrecks. Sammy Sosa, better. Watch Brick cages crowd from 1933 until 45, yellow stars falling under fragrance in circles like wheels for exercise, so Hitler could cleanse this world of dirty mischief, all in praise of fairness. Was it whiteness is next to godliness or something else? I can't remember. I was too blinded by your lightness.
Evening again. My name is Deepak Krishnan, and the work is called Eduardo. I've met over 100 people named Eduardo. I used to play soccer in New York with an Eduardo from Bogota. He looked nothing like the Eduardo from Botswana, an international student who overturned an 18-wheeler on the Jersey Turnpike. Neither of them looked anything like the Eduardo family I lunched with, working-class Bulgarians who overstayed their tourist visa for the sake of the children. Then there's the Eduardo from Kenya, who moonlighted as a cleaner, or the Eduardo from Bangladesh, who signed up to be army strong, or the Eduardo from India, who shortened his name to Ed, or the Eduardo from Guadalajara, a young woman mastering English for an American-born infant, driving without a license. Presently, an Eduardo from Syria and an Eduardo from Iraq have dug a tunnel from the Mideast to the Midwest, where they're greeted by an Eduardo from Nepal, resting in the shade after harvesting fruit in the sun. It's possible the three Eduardos become friends, lovers even, before driving to the nearest city awash with restaurants, because ever since they were little, they've harbored dreams of working with dishes and soap. Sometimes I want some of that. Guts. I want to snort some of that. I want to jaywalk, ignore deadlines, jump over turnstiles, smile at policemen. I want to incinerate rules, ignore deadlines all the time. I want to walk with the black man at night, walk alone when the black man's unavailable. Screw ethics. I want to incinerate rules, take jobs under the table, inhale ganja, break my lease, marry without thinking, grow a beard in August, continue growing it in September. And I want to refuse, simply refuse to doctor my name, because sometimes I just want to know what it's like to feel white, if it's possible to know what it's like to feel white. I want to falsify papers, inform parents America broke me, that someone took all the money, that it's hard to take advantage or do things by the book, that Homeland Security is sending me flowers, addressed to a man named Eduardo. Presently, there is an Eduardo hiding under the chair you sit. In your dreams tonight, 8 Eduardos will landscape 8 lawns in 8 different ways. And tomorrow on the L, babies named Eduardo will wave at other babies named Eduardo. Then the day after tomorrow, an Eduardo will lose his way in the desert. In a week, increase that number to 4. In a year, imagine 1,000 Eduardos sleeping underground. When you visit this desert sometime next year, place your ears close to the ground and hear what their voices sound like when rereading letters stashed in trouser pockets. Letters sent from home.
Hi, I'm Kelly Broider Raimundo. This poem's called Monster. To remove
to take something off of or away from the position occupied, to claw you out. They wanted me to tuck you in the bed of my nails, lay you in the glass bassinet of my palm above a bloody toilet seat, pretend to be God, remove it from my uterus. It, they called you it. It would be better off that way. Between all-nighters and parties, my 20s are my time to be selfish. I strut my heels down suburban street runways, live in the moment, date a lot, bar hop a lot, look pretty, they say. My body will forgive the earthquake, the prematurity of its limbs collapsing inside. I will smile again. One day, my womb too. But you were mine, and I protected you. My best friend calls me a monster for it. 5 months. You fit in me like the gray sky. 8 months, my pockets are ripping. 9 months, full term. No turning back now. Pitocin makes my breathing wild like epidural, sharp, pierces my back like my best friend's stilettos. You are released from me, child, beautiful, roaring. I am a monster now, beast, wild stock, alien, the lines that pulsate and pull and stretch across my abdomen are the electrocardiogram of E.T. Crop circles are appearing around my eyes. After months of sleepless nights, my friends, my old friends, have put me in quarantine. My breasts are Godzilla's 2 hind legs. White lava shakes the ground with each step. I'm 21 and I got drinks on deck. My daughter thinks I'm beautiful, even if they don't. Peyton Sophia Raimundo. Your laughs are my fingerprints. I never considered waving goodbye to you. I fought so your cuticles would not become ghosts, to keep, to have, retain possession of, to not lower a casket with my heartbeat inside. Thank you.
I'm still Erin Watson, and this poem is still called Baba Yaga on Palmer Square. As the neighbor flashed threats from her yellow eyes, she swore, "Nobody wants you here." So my house creaked up on its chicken legs, uprooted sod clumps with its raptor claws. My house scratched out where our nest had been. My house held me whole in its gullet and ran. I ground coals in my pestle. I took ashes for sugar in my tea. My house went without its diet of skulls. My house grew weak and stumbled on a stained box spring. I creaked shut the screen door and went scavenging, a bone meal for my house's hunger. I spoke with the rats who averted their eyes when they heard where my house had been. In the crystalline old snow, I tore dry meat from a femur. Never did I learn to speak my house's language. She only imitated mine. But cradled in the gullet's redness, I said my spell. I want you here. I want you here. I want you here.
Hi again, I'm Rachel Slotnick, and this poem is still for my dad. This is called Tales from my fisherman father, if I follow my hands, can I shake the winter fish from the trees? In Tiburon on a Wednesday, I saw a seabird with my father's face. Why don't you get yourself a decent boyfriend, it cawed. It spiraled up and vanished, casting a flicker on the sand by my feet like the limb of a tree, breathing out slowly. When I turned 7, my father's beard filled with salmon and seaweed. His cod eyes darted from reef to reef. He spoke in an enormous gurgling noise that made everything sound like death. This was his lullaby. It was the sort of burbling tonality I needed in order to believe in things like the stuff that shifts the clouds. My father was tormented by winter fish. He saw them everywhere, dangling from the trees, hanging in the air like reflective lures, swallowing the sky and hiccuping green ocean. I tried to explain to him once that they were only apples. See, they're not fish at all, I said, as I plucked a ripe red one. But his scaly skin tautened, and so, like he had taught me so many times, I threw it back. I watched it fall like an unanswered plea until at last the apple hit the ocean. My skeleton is shivering, my father said to me once when his thoughts turned to the winter. One Passover, I brought home a handsome, rich fish of a boyfriend. Is he Jewish? Asked my father, clutching the neighborhood in the palm of his hands. Once in the hospital, my father ate an octopus. As he chomped, his eyes rolled back like a hungry predator. I watched all the legs and legs and legs. I remember he too had looked like an octopus, all those tubes growing from his arms. I had never felt my hands so concretely, so many fingers, so many unnecessary digits. That was when I first noticed it, supple and perfect, a tentacle sprouting from the heart of my palm. If you follow your hands, you can shake the winter fish from the trees, he had said. There we stood, just two humans looking out the hospital window at the edges of the fishbowl, talking about the weather. We'll call him Charley, my father said once of a tremendous rainbow trout as he gutted it and the paint colors spilled out. The clouds were gray as fish skin. My father wiped the purple blood on his pants and he said, "Don't worry, sweets, he's already dead." I knew when the clocks were still in the fish skin sky and the carp rained down from the trees like apples. "Be still," said my father. The leaves hummed, and everywhere were tentacles for hearts. I knew then that this was the beginning of something slow. Thank you.
That is amazing, right? Oh my goodness. Thank you all for those poems. Thank you all for taking your time to vote. We're going to vote for one person. It'll either be MOJDEH, Deepak, Kelly, Aaron, or Rachel. And then you're going to pass your wonderful ballots to the ends. Our wonderful guild deacons and deaconesses will be coming up the row. We want to thank you all so much. How'd y'all like tonight so far? To quote the great song, "It ain't over," right? We still have some things for you to see. So look at here, everybody. John Rich has some information for you.
So we really want to give something to everybody, all the finalists. It was great that we had 5 this year. I also love a tie. So I'm going to call up everybody. I'm saving the winner till last, of course, right? But I'm going to give everyone a copy of Blacks and also another little thank you. a sign of our appreciation for participating, and congratulations for being a finalist. So first, please congratulate Kelly Reuter Raymundo. I feel like it's graduation now. Please congratulate Aaron Watson. And also Rachel Slotnick. And also please welcome to the stage MOJDEH Stokely. And could we please have Deepak to the stage to accept a check? I don't even have an envelope for it. Congratulations to everybody.